Ciao ragazzi, benvenuti alla video intervista di Rock Hard. Siamo oggi in compagnia di Per degli Opeth, il tastierista. Welcome to Rock Hard video interview.
Thank you.
Gli Opeth sono qui a Milano in occasione del loro concerto al Rolling Stone e cogliamo appunto l'occasione per fare qualche domanda proprio a Per che è qui con noi. So, first of all, you jump from jazz touches to stoner riffs to death metal with a wide range of influences, you know, explored to the limits in between all these influences. And where do you think Opeth magic and dynamic sound, this music dimension comes from, and what makes you so unique in your opinion? What do you think?
Well, it's really hard to say how unique you are yourself, you know, because I think that's pretty much up to people to judge, you know. But I think there's so many different influences in this band, and I think that contributes to the sound a lot, you know. There's everybody listens to so much different music, you know, and from like 60s and 70s music, and we all grew up in the 80s, you know, listening to metal of all kinds. And I guess the band started out as a death/black metal band, you know, but with different influences as well.
What is your role in the composition of the songs?
Usually Michael, he writes most of the stuff, both lyrics and music. But since I'm pretty new in the band, I don't really know how it worked before, you know. But for this last album we rehearsed a lot, and I think that gives each member the opportunity to have a lot more to bring to the sound, you know. And yeah, we spent a lot more time.
Okay, and how did you get in touch with the band? It was like you were a friend before, or what? How did it happen?
Yeah, sort of. Sweden's a very small country, you know, and even smaller if you play metal or hard rock. Everybody pretty much know each other, you know. So, but I knew Michael from before, and we live in Stockholm. All of the guys in this band live in Stockholm, and me too. So we out a bit, you know, when we're not on our separate tours like before. And then they asked me if I wanted to come along and play keyboards for their Damnation album, the touring of that album. And so I did, and I guess I just got stuck.
Were you a fan of the band before?
Yeah, I always liked Opeth. I thought when they released the first album, Orchid, that was like a breath of fresh air to that scene, at least for me, because I was pretty bored at the time with lots of the death metal stuff. It seemed to me that a lot of bands some bands, good ones, faded away, you know, they broke up or whatever, and some bands didn't develop as much as you'd hope for, you know, as a fan. And to me, Opeth was like a new view playing that kind of music, and it was pretty appealing to me. And I didn't know him at the time when I heard that first album, but I got to know them a couple of years later.
Opeth is a band that is really much appreciated by the critics. Actually, I have here some articles, some pieces that I read from Rolling Stone, for example. It says, Opeth continually expands the definition of what metal can be. Or we have Classic Rock, who says, Opeth live show is an experience any rocker should live at least once. Then there's a then alternative that states Opeth has swilling appeal and grittiness. The Village Voice from New York says Opeth carry prog atmosphere to epic extremes. Most every song drags you through 10 minutes of melancholy, more magnificent than Swans of Joy Division. So, actually, you're very much appreciated, but what I was wondering, is it rock and roll for a band like Opeth being so well appreciated by the critics or not?
I don't know. Obviously, all the stuff that you just read is like fantastic and nice words, you know, but I mean, there was also a time when nobody gave a shit, if you can say that. Shit about this band, you know. Nobody wanted to bring them on tour, and they didn't get any tour support from the labels, the previous labels. So, I mean, I think everything goes in circles, and maybe it's Opeth time now. I don't know, you know, because I think this band has always continued to do and write and play the music they believed in, and I guess sometimes it's not hip, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe now it is. You don't know, because you can't set out to make a record that everyone's gonna like, and certainly not the critics, you know. I mean, you do what you do, and if people like it, it's fantastic, you know, because then you have something to some people to share your vision with, you know.
You've been compared to Pink Floyd too. What do you think about that?
That's also, it's of course very nice. That's a band that everyone in Opeth likes a lot. So, and I guess in the past played an important role as an influence for the band, you know, since Opeth has pretty long songs and Pink Floyd also has that. And so
you're loved by the critics, but also by the fans. And there's a thing actually that, you know, wearing an Opeth t-shirt seems, you know, become like something to be very proud of. What do you think about that? Actually, you know, if you own an Opeth t-shirt, so you rule, you rock, you are the right metaller. So what do you think about that?
Well, that's great if that's the case, you know. The only thing I can say is, like, when I was younger, you know, there were certain bands that you always wanted to have like a t-shirt with that sort of was the coolest one, you know. But I mean, I don't think I've gotten any better just by being a little bit older, you know. I still cherish my Venom shirts, you know. So I don't know. Well, I hope it's just like if people wants to wear the shirts that we got, that it says something about, you know, musical quality or whatever. I mean, that's great, you know. But I don't know about, you know, if that's the best shirt ever.
Which kind of audience do you have? Which is the Opeth crowd? Actually, also, what kind of t-shirts do you see during the concerts in the audience? Did you ever wonder that?
Yeah, I think it's changed a little bit during the years. I know when I went to see them years ago, you know, it was mainly a metal audience, I would say. You know, a lot of black metal shirts in the audience. I think that nowadays we get a pretty diverse audience, both, you know, how old people are. You see, but I think that's a great thing, you know, that you appeal to maybe more people than just one genre. Whatever. You see kids in Slipknot shirts in the front row, and you see like what you imagine could be, you know, older people that was maybe into progressive rock in the 70s and still are into us, which is fantastic. This seems to be like a good crossover appeal for the band, at least at the moment, you know. So nowadays I would say you see both girls and boys.
Okay, that's good.
Open shows, which of course is good, you know, and also kids and lots of older people recently as well, which is cool, you know.
And is it a wild audience or a kind of audience that most like to listen to the music?
That's maybe a little bit more geographical, I would say. Some countries, people seem to be more into just, you know, stand and listen, you know, eyes closed, somewhere else in the universe. But then of course you got like the more traditional metal crowd, and which can get a good mosh pit going as well. I love it when people just, you know, mosh away or whatever, because that's the way I was like when I was going to concerts. So
preferred to be wild. Okay.
Yeah, especially if it's like a metal concert, you know.
And is it easier to write a short song or maybe the longer stuff comes more naturally for Opeth, of course?
Well, I guess that's always been like the trademark thing for Opeth, to have long songs which are supposed to take the listener and the band on a short journey, you know. But there's a couple of shorter ones on the latest album, and especially like the last song, Isolation Years, which is pretty short and straight to the point for being an Opeth song. I don't know which one's the hardest, really. I think it's, if you're interested in a style, you know, of writing music, I guess it's like that's what comes easiest for you, you know. I don't think there's never been a question in this band if they had to choose between the two, you know. I think you just do what you're interested in, really, and try to do it as good as you can.
And seems to me actually that you live Opeth more like an experience, a way of life, than, you know, a job or a career. Did you really get into this just for artistic purposes, or I mean, is this a correct vision of the old situation?
Well, I think we're pretty lucky because we can live off of our music, you know, and so it certainly is a job as well, you know. But when you say that, a lot of people take it negative, and you're not supposed to say that music is a job and so on, you know. But it is, because it is what we're doing, you know. We play music and travel around and play music for people, you know, and we get paid for doing that. But there's also this thing when you talk about the music being your job, it's always like, why can't you have fun when you do your job, you know? Right. Because job is always very negative for everyone, you know. And I guess we're just lucky, and we'll try to enjoy our job while we can, you know. Maybe next year nobody will like us, so. But I would say it is a job, but a very pleasant one, I would say.
Okay, but what do you think that if big, huge success comes, maybe it can destroy the magic of a band like Opeth, like, for example, it happened with Metallica?
Yeah, but then again, if you ask Metallica, I think they will reply that they have the time of their lives now. But that's impossible to say, really. I don't think anyone in the band expected when they started the band, and I don't think anyone does, you know, especially if you're into playing like metal music. You don't form a band and think that, yeah, we're going to be able to live off this, you know. It's just too far away, you know. It's hard to grasp when you're a kid and start a band, you know. But the band's been going for so long, and I guess everyone's just happy as how long the band's been going, and it's really going. The band is doing really good now as well, and I don't think anybody expected that, really, you know. I think everyone in the band expected all the people to hate us.
Okay. What do you listen the most on your tour bus, and which are the movies that you usually choose? And do you fight on that choices or not?
No, I think everyone listens to a lot of different music, and I'd say that mainly everyone listens to the music in their bunks, you know,
with headphones.
Yeah, exactly. And movie wise, it's like when you come to a tour bus, there's usually like a bunch of movies on the walls that the bus driver has, or something like that, and usually there are some good ones, and sometimes a good one that you haven't seen yet as well. So we don't fight a lot over things at all, I would say.
So this is something I didn't know. The tour bus comes with the movies, so you don't bring the movies yourself?
No, we can do if there's something it's like you really want to see, but that's usually you pick up DVDs when you go along, you know. Right. So, and that's usually music stuff, I would say.
Do you have a Spinal Tap copy on the bus?
No, I know that by heart anyway. You don't have to see it again, because I think everybody knows that it's the greatest documentary ever.
Okay, and so you split from your, I would say, main producer from the past. I'm talking about the Porcupine Tree guy. Was that a troubled divorce, or is something definitive, or is something that can be solved and maybe you will collaborate with him again in the near future? What do you think? And do you think that it maybe influenced your softer side of Opeth? What do you think?
Well, he wanted to do this album, but he couldn't, because he was when we were supposed to go into the studio, he had to go on tour with Porcupine Tree. So it was only, like a schedule thing. And because I know Michael asked him if he wanted to do it, but then again, the band has the records has been produced by the band themselves almost every time before as well, and Steven helped them with vocal arrangements and the Ear Candy stuff, like guitar leads and some more stuff like keyboards in the past as well. But the major recording part has always been done by the band themselves anyway, so it's not like a big change to do it on your own compared to how it was before. So
So we can name Steven. It wasn't a troubled divorce.
Oh, absolutely not. It was just like a clash of schedules,
Okay.
And you never know what's going to happen next time if he's going to be back and do some producing or whatever, help out in any kind of way. I don't know. We're pretty early in the touring schedule anyway for us. The record has been out for 3.5 months now, and we got so much touring ahead of us. Almost the whole next year is already booked, so it's going to take some time, I guess, until we will record again.
So give to our readers or viewers, in this case, 3 reasons why they should buy the new Opeth album if they don't already have it.
It's a good-looking cover.
Okay, this is one.
Yeah, it's one. There's also some good songs on it.
All right, this is 2.
Yeah, and I would say if you like your metal a little bit spiced up with 60s and 70s stuff, it may be for you,
Good. And do you think, is there any other band around that is in certain ways similar to Opeth? Any band that maybe you feel, I don't know, maybe part of a scene, or you feel pretty much unique?
Well,
as we said before.
Well, I don't know about the scene. There's lots of talk about the Swedish scene, which I guess, I don't know if it's a scene really. I don't think we belong to a scene more than that. We're just a band rooted in death and black metal, whatever. I don't know. We have the other guys are really close friends with a band called Katatonia, and I guess that's like a brother band of
right.
And they also have their own. I wouldn't say that they sound like Opeth, but they have their own sound, and it's a pretty good band, I think. Nice people as well. And but then again, there's like maybe bands in different genres, but you can relate to how they play and write music, like, I don't know, Mars Volta, Tool, bands like that.
Good. One last question before you go. Last week, actually first week of December, it was the 25th anniversary from John Lennon murder, and first anniversary, sad anniversary from Dimebag Darrell was shot dead.
Yeah.
And So it was a sad week.
Yeah.
Do you have any memories related to them? Actually, John Lennon is a legend now, and seemed that in the metal scene everybody knew Dimebag. So do you have any memory related to them?
Well, I mean, I remember when John Lennon was shot. So I remember when that happened, and you saw it on the news. Was it always feels, even if you obviously you don't, I didn't know him, you know.
Right.
But even though, because you sort of think that you know people through their music, know a guy through his music or whatever, and it's because like a guy like John Lennon, they're so popular and big, you know. It's like they're always supposed to be there, you know. And I guess it's a little bit the same with Dimebag as well. He was a fantastic guitarist, and personally I was always a fan of Pantera. Got to see them many times when they were going, and also supported them with another band I was in, or still playing some years ago in '98. And nice people, you know, and it's just sad that people pass away like that, because you could totally picture that both of them has so much music in them, you know, and I guess would have gone on to do records forever or whatever.
Okay, is there any special message that you want to leave to our readers before you go? Maybe having sound check, I think.
No, we've done sound check already.
They don't sound check. This is a good news.
Yeah. So
for them, actually.
Come to the show and see us play. We're actually pretty good.
Okay, thanks very much for your time, Per. Okay. Hope to see you soon, and maybe they are ready for another interview, so we must cut now. Okay. Thank you very much. Ciao.
Ciao.